The sequel that nobody asked for.
Yes, it certainly is.
It does feel like one of those scenarios where, like, just highlighting the fact that it's a sequel nobody asked for doesn't really absolve making the sequel nobody asked for. It has some good character stuff for Amethyst and Steven, but...
Yeah, pretty much.
By the standards of... It's merely okay, and by the standards of Steven Universe, that is just terrible.
Kind of, yeah. So this is Tiger Philanthropist. Hopefully I said that correctly.
Philanthropist, yeah.
In this episode, Steven and Amethyst have been continuing their wrestling career as Tiger Millionaire and Purple Puma, apparently. But after another tag team win, Amethyst decides he's done with wrestling and suddenly quits. Steven decides to do the same. However, the next day when he goes to the Big Donut, Lars is sad and complaining about it. How Tiger Millionaire didn't need to quit just because Puma did, and that changes his mind. Steven goes back to the ring, this time changing his name to the Tiger Philanthropist, giving away his tiger money while defeating his opponents. Lars doesn't like this new Tiger Millionaire, which disappoints Steven. Amethyst, meanwhile, talks with Steven about it. It says he doesn't need it to feel worthwhile anymore, which is why she quit. And Steven doesn't really want to if Amethyst doesn't. So he's going to give up the belts in a match to other teams, but before he can, the Purple Puma comes in and they reunite to lose one last match. And that's basically it.
So, like I said, it's kind of... Mainly this episode seems to be a mile marker for Steven and Amethyst's character development, because they've had a lot of good stuff recently with their own feelings of self-worth. So Amethyst saying she doesn't need the wrestling to feel worthwhile anymore is really nice.
Yep.
You know, it's good to see Amethyst feels that much better about herself, but she has overlooked that that was never the reason Steven got involved. He just, as he said, it was their thing that they did together. He likes having this thing that he does with Amethyst, and her just dropping it without telling Steven is kind of hurtful to him, because it says to him that that it's not as important to her to have that thing that she does with Steven. But, you know, I'm sure there are plenty of other things that they do together, and the fact that they do talk about it quite open. Again, communication. This show's so good for communication.
Yep.
You know, all that's the good stuff, and beyond that, there's just... I also like the reminders that Steven has super strength. I keep forgetting that he has super strength until then you see this tiny wee boy, you know, taking down full-size wrestlers.
Yes.
You're the guy who knows about wrestling, not me, but the stuff with Beach City doesn't seem particularly scripted. Like,
no.
They have strong characterizations, but otherwise they turn up and just fight.
Yeah.
So he's actually beating up all these grown, muscle-bound adults quite easily.
He German suplexed one of them. It was awesome. But yeah, there's not too much to say, really, about this one. I'm shocked they went back to it ever, because this was like episode 9.
Yeah. I didn't even realise they were continuing to wrestle in the intervening time.
True.
I don't think it's ever been indicated in between then and now that they're still wrestling together, which no. I kind of would have liked, because it would have made this feel less out of nowhere if there'd just been an offhand comment in a previous episode about, yeah, we were at the wrestling last night or something.
Yeah.
Or, something about Lars and Sadie talking about seeing Tiger Millionaire. I love Lars' dismissiveness of, oh, Sadie, you and your crazy theories. Obviously, Tiger Millionaire isn't Steven.
He's obviously 7 feet tall.
Oh, yeah, Lars is still annoying, but he was decent mouthpiece for this episode.
Yes. By the way, I swear, Sadie in this episode shrunk. Yeah. She was so tiny.
Her and Peridot are the two that seem to get smaller with every appearance.
Yes.
Like, so tiny. She's shorter than Steven now. I'm pretty sure at the beginning she was at least taller than Steven.
Yes.
I'll also say I'm a bit worried that this episode feels a bit like they're going at the fan base for like, what do you want? You don't know what you want. And it's like, well, yeah, you know what it is good to just stick with doing what you know what you're doing rather than expecting the fan base to tell you what to do, basically.
Yeah.
Because you got the fan base by doing what you do, and you just need to be consistent in that. But it does feel a little bit mean-spirited to actually have a go at the fan base for it. Like, I know the Steven Universe fan base can be astonishingly shitty at times, which I'm not going to get into, but in general it's best not to take jabs at your fan base like that. It's just not cool.
Or at least if you do so, make it funnier.
Yeah. I mean, for example, like Peridot and Lapis's thing for Camp Pining Hearts and Peridot's shipping charts and her extensive rants about the relationship of the characters, that's the good kind of nodding to your fandom.
Yes.
Like, and, you know, fandoms in general. It's great. I think that's adorable. I'm all for that. But...
yeah, pretty much. I was amused at how the money was CG for no reason.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it was just this weird CG looking thing that was thrown around it. It was a random choice.
For a bit I was like, where is Steven getting all that money from? And then I remembered, oh yeah, he had Tiger Bucks or something.
Yes.
Like his own special brand of Monopoly money.
But it's just weird, because this is literally a Tiger Millionaire sequel about how they shouldn't have made a Tiger Millionaire sequel.
More or less.
I feel like it was made because they wanted to do a wrestling episode, but realized that they didn't have anything to do with it. So they like, that'll be what the episode's about then. Yeah,
they kind of used it. Like I said, it performed decently as a milestone for Amethyst and Steven's character development.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they were clearly kind of writing themselves in circles with this one.
More or less.
Which happens to everybody, and, you know, it's still pretty good. It's still a pretty good episode by the standards of most other cartoons.
Yes.
It's just, damn you, Steven Universe, and your high standards of entertainment.
I know, right? There were a couple of funny things I liked. I liked when Mr. Smiley said, "Underground wrestling is too big to fail." Which is
oh, bless.
I know that's such a weird line.
I'm so weirded out by the fact that he's still wearing his beach shorts. Like, he's got his nice suit and tie, and then whenever he stands up from his desk, he's wearing his beach shorts.
Yeah.
I also thought it was nice of him to define philanthropists. Like, they went, Tiger, philanthropist! Oh shit, isn't this show aimed at 7-year-olds? Oh yeah, we should probably explain that word.
I love the part where the weird fish people gimmick thing, and like one of them, he actually had to look up.
Yeah.
that was pretty great. I like how there was a team that was the Wolves of Wall Street. they were just wolves.
Hey, wolves in suits and ties.
Yes.
Which does make them an ideal archenemy for a tiger philanthropist.
Yeah.
Which is a word that is very hard to say aloud a lot, I'm noticing.
Yeah.
Tiger philanthropist.
I did like Lars' line, the Philharmonic donations thing.
Oh, Lars, you uneducated swine.
Yes. I did like how at the end, when they were being intentionally losing, how Lars had to be dragged away crying.
And Sadie's just holding the door open for the bouncer with the most done expression on her face, like, yeah, this is the guy that I spend my days with, God knows why.
But, yeah, there's just not much to this episode.
No, I can't think of much else to say.
Yeah. I mean, I actually did like some of the, like, I guess, angles they did, the camera angles they did at points. Like, it was probably a good way to show, like, how much the series has developed since that point.
Yeah, the animation has noticed. I suppose if you watch the two side by side, you'd notice a real significant animation bump.
Yes.
But yeah, it is one of those just little bitty episodes where it's just it feels a bit like they're just killing time until they get to a more important episode.
Yeah.